like, man. He switches again. Come
Oh,
here.
you late. You late. You late.
You hold on. You held on to that?
Come on, man. I'm holding
How
on to
did
that,
you-
man. I'm a beast.
Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ball Talk, episode 6. This is a very special one. We're back to having a guest on the show. That's always nice.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
it's always nice to have a guest on the show for sure. And this time it's a special one.
This
Well, I mean,
is definitely
for
special.
us, but more for you, I would say.
Yeah. I think you guys are definitely going to enjoy this episode. If there's no other episode you ever watch this one because it's inspirational. It's very entertaining, in my opinion. There's a lot to be had from this episode. So let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend. His name is TDBarrett. You may have seen his videos on YouTube. We'll put all the links in the description below. He's currently working on 1.4 million subscribers?
Yeah, around that one. 1.4 million subscribers. Yeah.
We're talking about going on 500 million channel views. I mean, 500 million with a B. That's
That's a lot.
quite sizable. He's done content for MLB The Show. He's done content for Madden. I think he's also done NBA 2K along with a bunch of other cool stuff. So he's definitely been around since, I believe, 2015. That's
Yeah,
kind of
around
when
that time, definitely.
that's when he started his content creation career. And
He started doing baseball actually too, He
That's
started
right.
back then doing with the challenge on the Road to the Show baseball.
That's
And
right.
they were really entertaining back then. And
That's
that's
right.
too out because he's still doing it. And he changed it to Madden, NBA 2K. He's also he was a professional athlete also while playing video games too. So the guy has done it all.
He's done it all. Yeah, he's played a lot of sports. He's played college football as well. And so this is going to be a really good conversation. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and let's roll right into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Ball Talk, number 6.
Numero 6.
And this one's special, man. This one's really
is, man.
special.
For sure. Like we got a big guest today here.
A big guest.
Never in a million years I would figure out we got this type of guest on the show for sure.
A very famous person.
It is.
I mean, let's introduce the man.
It is there.
His name is TDBarrett. You guys may have seen him on YouTube. You guys may have seen him at the Super Bowl last couple of years. I don't know if did you go last year? You've been to a few, right?
Yeah, last year, yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So,
No,
TDBarrett.
thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited. I've watched a couple of the episodes already, so it's a great idea.
Thank you
And
so much,
guys,
man.
You guys have great chemistry, so it's been fun to watch. I'm excited to join.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, thanks
Thank you
for being
here.
Yeah, thank you for being so gracious with your time. I know you're busy. You have been nonstop grinding this YouTube grind since 2005.
Pretty much since after. So my football season in when I was graduating, I started right after that, and it's been pretty nonstop since then. Really nonstop since probably 2016, where I think I was posting every day for a while. But, it's definitely been a lot.
It's been a lot. So why don't we talk about that? Because that's when we met, right? We met when you just finished high school, I believe, right?
Yeah, we met at the gaming. Well, we met way before that, but we met in person first at E3.
E3
Which was-
2015.
2015, yeah, it was when EA still had a booth. It was EA's last year there. It was the last year, I think, before EA Play, because didn't they switched after the fact?
That's right.
And it was obviously when Rocket League launched, all those different things. But no, that event was so cool. I still talk about that. I still wear the shirt, the little Sports Gamers Online shirt that we had, because that was definitely like the start of, I think, seeing like where everything kind of could go.
Yeah. That was huge. I mean, for me too. I mean, it was like a lifelong dream, just reading about video games all my life. I'm sure you were similar, reading and then watching YouTube videos back then. I mean, I know it's not that long ago, but it seems like it was like a eternity ago. but YouTube was just kind of, as far as the gaming space was like starting to take off, right? So
Mhm.
I know we met there, and then I like seeing some of these YouTubers that we had watched and stuff. Like that was really kind of inspiring, right? I know that probably was that a big reason of why you wanted to start doing
Mhm.
YouTube?
Yeah, no, I definitely saw like if I'm being honest, I saw how like big YouTubers and stuff were getting treated, and we were pretty small at the event. Like we definitely at times we felt a little bit like we were just kind of there, and we felt out of place. And so I definitely like I would see like just not that I really wanted that kind of like VIP treatment, but I saw how the big YouTubers were kind of get treated, and it like how it would be to go to an event like that in that kind of sense. And right after that event, I remember telling you in a parking garage, actually, I was like, yeah, I was like, because I was kind of deciding, like, do I keep doing YouTube or do I just focus on football? After that event, I was like, YouTube, like, all the way, like, I have to find a way to make this work, even if it kills me, like, because I think when you go to an event like that, you just see all the different and for me, I've been to the US quite a few times, but just with like family and stuff. But going and seeing such a large scale event that like so much money got put into it, all the stuff that EA was doing, and just it was very much like, wow, like this is really cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what well, I mean, that's pretty much what you wanted to be, right? When you saw like all the big YouTubers at the event and they
Hmm.
treated that guy and you be like, I want that too, or maybe even better, to be like, hey,
Hmm.
I'm gonna grind this 24/7, 365 until I made it. And you did it. I mean, you over made it, I would say.
Yeah, no. Well, thank you very much. Though. But yeah, no, exactly like you were saying. I think it's when you start out on anything, it's tough to find like you can kind of feel stuck at certain points. But when you actually
Yeah.
see like what the results could be, like you see people, I think it is important to see people who have had success because then you can be like, yo, that could definitely be me. And also just like it was some of the first like celebrities I had ever met were like the YouTubers that I met at that event. So when you meet celebrities, you kind of build them up in your head before that as like these larger than life figures who must be so different than you or must be so much smarter than you. But then you meet them and not to say that they weren't, but it was just like everything felt just like it was just like me. Like no one was any different than us. And it was kind of like, oh, well, I guess anyone can do this sort of thing.
Yeah. Uh,
Which
Now, granted, I will say this. I will throw this in. Of all the people I've met throughout the years that are in this content space, like even gaming space, you're a notch above, like in my book, because of your work ethic. Like I feel like that's one thing that like people underestimate. Just
mhm.
having talked to, I mean, we've all been at different places in our life and stuff, but having talked to people who who want to do this or who want to do YouTube, including myself at times,
Mm.
um, you've taken it another step in my opinion. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the work ethic that you've shown, I don't know if people that say they want it, if they truly want it as bad as you've wanted it and made it happen. Like, would that be a fair assessment? Like the work ethic that you have to put in, it's no joke.
Yeah. No, it's definitely one I never felt like I was, and I think lately that's kind of changed when I was actually, because not that I wasn't good at making videos and stuff, but at a certain time I wasn't the most talented at playing the game. I sucked at video editing. Like I had not a lot of going for me like when I first started. So the only thing that I could really think of that would like set me apart was just like you said, work ethic and consistency because I knew I wasn't very good at MLB The Show. I wasn't a good editor. I was terrible and I didn't really necessarily know like my personality. And that's something that I found over the last like 2, 3 years, like getting into competitive Madden and getting into those things, like kind of finding my identity. Like I feel like I'm doing now what I always really wanted to do. But throughout those times when at the beginning, when I didn't have those skills and I knew I wasn't going to be able to compete on a quality wise or a skill wise to the really big YouTubers, the only way that I could think of to separate myself was be like, hey, I'm the only YouTuber who's gonna have 3 videos in your sub box a day. Whether or not that's annoying, but I was like, it was just came to me. I was like, how do I go about getting away from the pack if I don't have clever edits? I'm not like I remember Lost and Unbound was one when I first started. I'd watch his videos and see how crazy his edits were, and then I'd watch my videos and it was just like cut ups because I just don't have that attention to detail. Um, so yeah, the work ethic thing, and it was almost to the point where I was a little bit crazy. Like if I'm being honest, to think of like 2016 when I was playing football doing school and uploading 3 times a day, like I would say it wasn't necessarily, I wouldn't recommend it. It was not healthy because I think my brain was so wired to where I had to post 3 times a day, where it was just like all I was thinking about. It was definitely like an addiction to consistency, which helped me, but it was intense.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, when you post like 3 times a day, first of all, for people who don't know, who don't do YouTube, they just think
Mhm.
it's gonna be easy. Like you just press record and that's it pretty much. No, you gotta, take care of so many things because when you do it your own, you like you did, you were starting, you didn't have nobody who maybe editing the video for you, or
Mhm.
you didn't have nobody who did the thumbnail for you or the ideas, and then you gotta spend times and hours. Just maybe like doing one video if you don't really know about it, it can take up to 5 or 6 hours to
Yes.
see how you do it and do it right. And then when you put it out there, you might don't get the views that you like it. But if you keep grinding like you did, like you said, you weren't great. I mean, I watched you while while playing the show, but like you weren't great at it. But you were entertaining, and that's pretty much what people were looking for. You bring
Mhm.
values to people. Watching you. Pretty much say, okay, this guy might not be the greatest at the game, but he's funny. I kind of
Mhm.
like his personality, and I want to see, how he's keep doing, what he's gonna bring to the table. So pretty much that's what everybody's looking nowadays. Like nobody really care about gameplay anymore. They just care about, can this
Mhm.
guy be entertaining? Can this guy, bring me to laugh or something different that not just the same, not what the same people just do every single day. It's like be crack at the gameplay and be amazing. Like we know you can do that. Like if you can do something else, that's what pretty much gonna set you apart. And like I said, you did it pretty good, man. Like definitely, you actually whatever you did, it worked amazing. That's for sure.
Yes. Yes. No, thank you very much. No, that's good because yeah. And I would say there's even times in the past where I watch my videos back now, and I don't know if any other YouTubers like that, where I'm just like, I didn't feel like I didn't feel very entertaining because I felt very robotic at certain points. Like in that, but it all helped with like the journey. But I definitely wouldn't recommend in this climate the 3 videos a day. I think it was more, yeah, I don't know. It was something.
You've I mean, you've definitely, just looking at your content over the years, you've definitely refined it quite a bit, right? Part of it
Mhm.
is probably, like you said, it's just kind of experimenting and doing and see what works, what doesn't work. But I used to watch your videos thinking, man, like just recording that video, just getting the gameplay for that particular video, because you used to do like a lot of challenge videos and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, just from an outside view, look at those videos, and they were very entertaining. They were very the title was very like, oh, I'm interested in this, let me click on that. But then I kept thinking, like, just having been on the other side of it, like, kept thinking, oh my gosh, like the work you have to put in just capturing the gameplay, like
Mhm.
hours and
Exactly.
hours of probably sitting there trying to repeat what you're trying to do, right? Whatever it is, hitting a 500-foot home run or like whatever it may be, but just capturing that moment, like, man, like that was probably quite a grind, right? Like,
Yeah, no, those were and some of them sure that was, I actually talked about in a video the other day how my whole channel, like all my success is because of that one time I just thought like I was, because my channel was not really moving on. And then I thought, oh, do the David Ortiz bunt single video. And like it was like the
that's
weirdest
right.
light bulb moment. And I remember it's weird now because we're building a house, so I'm now living at home again. So it was this room actually where I remember running upstairs and being like,
Wow.
yo, that, and I just had that gut feeling like, oh, that's gonna work. And those titles were just whack and like weird and just didn't really make a lot of sense. But there was like a group of people who seemed to really enjoy them. And like sometimes I got way too crazy with what I was doing, but that was the same thing, like I said, as well as consistency, the creativity aspect to stand out at the beginning is doing stuff that, like, I used to spend a lot of time on like Google keywords.
Mm.
Like I remember telling you about that, where every single day in a baseball season, I'd look up what like the most searched person was, or the most searched anything, or the most searched people in pop culture, and then I'd make a video dedicated towards those two things. So if someone was really trending in some celebrity or basketball player, I'd make a basketball video of them playing baseball because I knew that the way YouTube used to work, it was much more. Now it's the algorithm's gotten smarter, but if you could hit a keyword like perfectly like that, it would get lots of views and
Mm.
yeah.
And that's a whole nother aspect of it. I think that a lot of
Yeah.
people don't like the work people like there's always that like, oh, you play video games for a living? There's a
Yeah.
lot more than that to it, right? Like,
Yes.
I mean, just the research involved. And then like you said, you're posting 3 videos a day and trying to stay creative, right? Like
Mhm.
you can't do the same video twice, and then now you're thinking of your next one, and you wanted to. I'm sure the competitive side, and you having played football and baseball and things like that growing up, like you want the next one to be better than your last one, right? Always. So it's like
Yeah.
you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, almost like chasing that, and just to come up with titles and thumbnails and the content itself, right? Let's not forget you got to
Mhm.
package. I mean, the video's got to be done too. Um, it it's
Yeah.
a lot, man, and I've said this before. I'm super proud of you, like where you started and where you are now, and like I feel like you um have done it the right way. Like you've really from start to now, you've just kind of keep ascending, man. I'm always super happy to see you succeed, man.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
He definitely is. He told me a few times about it. He's like, I met him, man. He was in high school and he was just studying on YouTube, and now he's like over here, like really much at the top of the game, pretty much I would say, with 1 million subscribers. Like, it can get better than that, It always can get better, but like right there, like he's so proud of you that it's pretty much amazing. And
It's
yeah, and well, what you say is like you did something different that what nobody else was doing at the moment, and you took
Mhm.
advantage of that, and you knew how to, let's say, exploit that for a good cause, of course, and
Yeah.
it worked. It was great, man. Like nobody was doing that type of video back then when in 15 or 16 on the show. At least everybody was doing, like gameplay because nobody had the ideas. So maybe you were like the first guy to come with that idea and say, okay, this is gonna work, and it worked, and then somebody else follow up, and you know how it is at the end of the day. But that was pretty much good, yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
that's another thing to kind of take away from like this. Like anybody that's watching right now, or any aspiring content creators, you like a lot of the content like on YouTube and stuff, that what gets a lot of views is the like card collecting game modes, right? The Diamond Dynasty, the
Mhm.
Ultimate Team stuff. You never really touched that stuff, and you've been ultra successful by creating content that doesn't necessarily mean spending a bunch of money or in game currency and stuff like that. So that's also another thing that I feel like can be taken from this. You don't have to have like the top part in a game or something to make the content for that, right? Like there is
Mm.
creativity and there's like stuff, there's content to be had in any game mode, in any video game, right? If you just find that
Yeah.
kind of that niche, right?
Yeah, no, and I think that's something for anyone, any aspiring person. If you and a funny example of this happened the other day. I was talking, so we're picking the exterior for our house right now, and I had an idea that was like totally different. And my dad says, "Well, no one's done that. Like, don't do that." And my response to him was, "Well, if no one's done it, then that means sometimes to do it." Like, I think a lot of times you look at things in YouTube and anything, you think, "Well, if other people haven't done it, then it obviously must not work." And I like I've always kind of went away from that. Like with Madden, I started like doing the online regs, like regular teams instead of ultimate team. And at the time, no one was doing that. And that was huge for my channel because I was the first one to do it. Online franchise, I think 2 or 2.5 years ago, I started online franchise. There was maybe one other, I think Cookie Boy may have been doing it at the time. And now everyone's doing them because it's sometimes it's good to be a pioneer of something. Not to say that it's always going to work. But if you go on YouTube and you type in what you want to do and it's not there, that's not always a bad thing because there could be a bunch of people who are just sitting at home waiting to see that thing. Like there's with games so big, every single mode has people who are playing it every single day. Some people who and I never really was into the Ultimate Team stuff. I just because when I was like 16, I spent a lot of money on it and I always kind of put myself in the shoes of someone, not saying that it's the worst mode in the world or anything, because I don't think that, but I think when I was younger opening those packs and when it would go bad and I didn't have money, I remember that really being like devastating. So I try not like not that I played in the classic and all the tournaments this year, which were Ultimate Team, but I tried to make all my videos kind of like that just because that's something that I've never really. I always prefer to play the free modes like franchise and regs. But no, I think no matter what you're doing, just if you're want to be a YouTuber, I think thinking outside the box is obviously important. Well, having some, you don't want to go too crazy one way, but it's always good to, yeah.
Sure.
Just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean it shouldn't be done.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's not about thing. If nobody has done and you're the first to do it and it works, right with it. That's definitely what I would say when what anybody would do pretty much.
Yeah.
So as far as
The tr-
IRL growing up, like you played sports, right? What sports did you play?
So I played all sports. Hockey from so the first sport that I really would have been huge into would have been hockey because
Just a
and I played
Canadian thing, huh?
This is Canada, yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's a Canadian thing. So everyone kind of played. But my old room in our old house actually had hockey boards. Like I was hockey obsessed, huge Flames fan.
Wow.
So I played hockey and then baseball in the summers. So hockey was probably my main sport then, but I was probably better at baseball always. And then as I got a little bit older, some things people wouldn't know. I played basketball, volleyball, badminton. I played then I guess football. I've played pretty much soccer. I played even for a little bit.
Wow.
But yeah, and so in middle school, I had to decide to quit hockey, and that was kind of a crazy thing to do at the time. But I quit hockey so I could play all the school sports that I really loved, and still probably my favorite sport which not a lot of people would know, to play is badminton. I really,
Interesting.
really loved, which
Yeah.
a lot of people probably wouldn't know about that, but I love badminton. I ended up getting really good at it, and I was never able to hit the hardest, but I loved and I'd watch a lot of like the pros do it. I was really good in tournaments at pushing, like knowing where to put not necessarily spiking it, but I kind of studied okay, put it there, like patterns of where to put the birdie.
Mhm.
So that was one of my favorite sports. So I played that all the way until the end of grade 12. Basketball I played a lot of, volleyball, and then football was the one that I guess I played the longest because I had to quit baseball because football, and yeah, I played
Right.
pretty well everything. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Honestly didn't know
Yeah.
you played
Yeah,
badminton
definitely.
too. That's
Yeah.
that's a great sport, by the way. Like anybody
So
that,
good.
yeah, I know. I didn't know. Is it big in Canada?
Just at like our in every like high school or middle school would have like a guys team and a girls team, and you
Interesting.
go like to tournaments. There's like probably 4 or 5 tournaments a year that you could go and
Yeah.
kind of compete in. So
Wow.
recently I've gotten into at the lake when we go to like pickleball, which is
Oh, it's
another version of
Yeah, I know.
tennis.
right.
So so on my off time I play a lot of pickleball. But
Nice.
yeah, no, overall I definitely grew up playing a lot of sports. I was very shy for just like and YouTube's really helped me with that. Completely changed. Like when I was younger, I was the type of kid who would like struggle to order when at a restaurant, like always be like very shy, like hiding behind my mom when I was really, really young, and like just I was incredibly shy. But I think YouTube, which is one of the things I thank it most for, it really helped me get my like confidence and kind of become who I like, because I would always be able to record in front of videos and be kind of who I was, but then in front of big groups of people, I wasn't really that person. I think YouTube kind of got me the confidence to that. So but yeah, I was definitely very shy. Like social studies in LA. Yeah, that's kind of yeah.
Very nice.
Pretty
Now,
much.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
that is another thing. Like the camera, it's kind of no, but I think most people don't like to hear themselves talk or even watch themselves back. And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I can definitely mirror what you just said. Like I used to have like serious social anxiety, like where I would start like sweating, and I felt like everybody's looking at me. Like like if I'm in a setting, even with like
Hmm.
3 other people that I know, not just strangers, but like I would get like kind of super like uncomfortable and I'd hide, like just like you were saying, I was super shy. And the YouTube thing or streaming or whatever, like just sitting in front of a camera, it does help, like kind of like at least for me to come out of my shell a little bit, and kind of,
Hmm.
and it seems like it's done the same thing to you over time. Like, the first I remember like sitting I remember you were saying to, because I wanted to like do the writing thing, right? The sports gaming writing thing.
Yeah.
And then you were the one that was like, no, you need to do YouTube. Let's do YouTube. We're doing YouTube. That's the way, that's what we're doing. Like we're doing YouTube. And like I remember sitting like at the front of the camera, like terrified the first time. I was like, oh, I don't know what to say. Like, but it does help. Like just social. If anybody has social anxiety, just sit in front of a camera, just record a video. You don't,
Honestly,
maybe just don't even have to share it with anybody, but just kind of, I don't know. It
yeah,
does seem to help.
Let me ask you
really
something.
does.
How do you prepare yourself before making a video, either for Madden or for MLB The Show, or whatever you're doing? What do you do first?
Um,
When you do, how do you go to that point? Okay, now I'm ready to press record and we're gonna do this.
so before I got married, I used to record all my videos at night and kind of randomly, sporadically, and I
Hmm.
don't do that anymore. So what's really changed the game for me is I essentially started treating YouTube like it was an actual like a 9 to 5 almost. And I don't always go until 5, but it was always like I would so that way I can wake up, like I wake up quite early, like at about like 7:30, have breakfast at 8:30, and then at about 9 I kind of start recording and doing things. And that's completely changed like my productivity and stuff, and just like overall not being as tired and being able to be done at a certain time too. So kind of like I guess my pre-video preparation would just be, I guess it's just like morning. I go for a run a lot of the times, kind of come back, it
Hmm.
energizes me, and then depending on what I'm like doing, because a lot of my stuff is online and I kind of have to communicate with other people to do all. But I think definitely scheduling it to where it's not just like sporadic. Like I hated doing it when it was just like, oh, I'll record tonight at 11, and then the next day at
Exactly.
2, and then the next day at 4, and then I never really felt like I was off. Like I always felt like I was on the clock. So
Hmm.
now at least I can have set times, and then like as soon as I'm done, I'm done. I don't look at views or analytics after I'm completely done, which has been huge.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
especially now that you have another person in your life, right? That you're
Yeah.
sharing your life with. What does she think of what you do?
YouTube?
Hmm.
Yeah, well, so we met when she's been here the whole time. We met when I had, I think, 10,000 subscribers.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so just as I was starting, because I met her like right first year of school, right after we kind of would have left for E3. So she's been here the entire time. She like obviously like it's a cool job because I'm around a lot of the time, and it's flexible. So we planned on doing a lot of traveling, but we haven't really been able to do much but
Yeah.
after I think it'll be good. But I think definitely like getting married helped fix my sleep schedule was the best thing, because she always goes to bed really early. So I've had to kind of convert to that where I go to bed, and that has changed the game for me. Like I would recommend to anyone, and I don't like going to bed. Like when I was staying up till 4 in the morning, I thought that it was more productive, but I really am like I'm an early kind of person now. But no, overall being married, it keeps I think throughout the entire time, like YouTube can be very stressful and competitive, and having someone who's like outside of it and like kind of doesn't necessarily know about all the different things that are going on and can just talk about other things was very healthy, rather than just because it's easy to well, it was easy for me to get fixated where I was, and telling me like when we first met, I'd be on my phone all the time. I'd post and I'd be checking the views, and I'd get stressed out if it wasn't doing good. And she's totally gotten me to stop doing that. She's like, if you're not like, just put the phone away, because and you probably remember in the hotel at E3 flicking and watching the views go up and down and having that kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
because I think yeah.
I was just gonna say again, another example of the work ethic that you have. Like at E3, I don't know how many subs you had then, but you were just starting,
Mm.
right? A couple thousand, maybe, whatever. But you were just starting, and we would spend all day at this conference, right, on our feet all day, interviewing everybody from like the creators of Rocket League all the way to like some
Yeah.
obscure like tennis game. I don't know. You know what I mean? So we were out there all day, and then we would come home to like our hotel room that we shared at the time. And I remember I would go downstairs to drink beers, and TD would be upstairs, like editing videos, trying to post something, looking at views, looking what other people are posting. Like, he took that opportunity by the horns, like at that moment even. And like you're saying, you didn't have much traction back then or anything, but like
Mm.
and it's another like example of like work ethic and like how that kind of almost flipped the switch, I think, for you in that particular moment. That conference
Mhm.
did, right? So I'm drinking
Yeah.
beers, you're editing videos.
Part of me wishes I would have enjoyed the Sandoval and not done that at this point, but it all worked out. I think it was a little, yeah. Like I said, yeah,
Now,
definitely.
what do you do for fun? Like, what do you do out? Let's like forget about
Outside,
YouTube.
yeah,
Yeah,
outside
Yeah.
gaming.
what do you like to do?
So I like a lot of walks. We have a dog now, so we go on at least like 2 or 3 like 40-minute walks a day. So that's kind of like an obvious thing. I golf a lot. I really enjoy golfing. Obviously reality TV. We love reality TV. In the winter, skiing a lot. I really enjoy skiing. Um, Hiking, going on hikes. Maddie likes to shop, and I like shopping too. Um, Movies, I enjoy movies. I watch like less sports than I used to because it's really hard to like justify with because she doesn't really like baseball that much to justify
Oh.
being like, oh yeah, let's watch a 4-hour game. Like I think baseball has,
Mm,
and not to say that and like this is kind of interesting. I have probably gotten less interested in baseball every year since 2015, and that's not because baseball did anything. It's just more with my schedule being more busy. It's a longer game. It's kind of tougher to keep up with, and because
it
she
is.
likes basketball and football, and she can watch those because they're less. But it's tough for me to justify when I work 8 hours watching like a 4.5 hour game if I know she's gonna pay it. But yeah, so I do that. I don't actually play games really outside of YouTube. Like I don't really, not that I don't enjoy them, but when I'm done, I don't really have any desire to play. Like I don't
Yeah,
remember the last time I played a video game just like Madden. I do in Madden because when I was training for the pro stuff, I had to play after. But in general, when I'm like recording, I'm playing. And that's why a lot of people like in Madden always assume like all you do is play this all day. But like I'm more like when I record is enough to be like good at the game. So when I record is kind of what they see is usually actually how much I'm playing and stuff. Trying to think of other thing. Obviously pickleball. I like basketball. Traveling will be a big thing that we do because Maddie likes to travel. So yeah.
nice, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much a married life. Like, we know about that.
Yeah.
Definitely, I know about that. It's pretty much the same with mine. I mean, we're not married, but we live together for the last 2 years, and we have been for like
hmm
5 years together. So that's pretty much like married, in between right there.
Yeah.
And she's the same. Like she watched a reality TV. I didn't. Now I watch it. Now I want to know when the next episode come out. So pretty much I'm adapting to her pretty much. Any
Yeah.
trash TV, I didn't watch any TV before. Now I'm watching TV and trash TV, which
Yeah.
I used to hate. Now I love it. I don't know why.
It's so
So it's
good.
it's the same way we do together. And same with baseball. She's not a big fan. Like I'm trying to get her to understand baseball, and she kind of wants it, but after like 2 hours, she's like, "This is boring. It's just too long a game. I can't do anymore. I'm sorry." And okay, you try for 2 hours. It's so good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
definitely
could yeah.
you got to be in the mood. Like I don't know, I've kind of changed the way I enjoy content too. Let me ask you guys this, both of you guys. Have you guys spent more time watching YouTube and like recent maybe year 2 years as far as like content like that you're watching, or are you guys like still cable TV type and like movies and stuff? Because I found myself watching a lot more like curated content that I'm into. Like we're into off-roading and stuff. So I have like
Mhm.
channels now that I watch, and I found myself, I kind of like thought about this the other day. I was like, I'm watching I'm watching this YouTube channel the way I used to watch like episodes on TV. Like I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
another episode coming out, things like that. I never really watched it before. Like this past year, I've watched a lot more YouTube. That kind of that kind of mindset.
Mhm.
You guys do that
Yeah,
at all?
answer that first.
Oh, no, I love cable.
Yeah,
I honestly, I'm a huge cable person. I'm like one of the only people I know that still has cable. And
that's funny.
honestly, which is funny enough, I don't really watch a lot of YouTube in general. I'm mainly like, there's like 2 or 3 channels. Like, there's one channel called The Nerd Writer who does like video essays that I watch a lot of. Like movie video essays, I'll watch. TV show reviews of like shows that I watch, I'll kind of look at, but I don't have a ton of like I wouldn't say I have a ton of YouTubers who I'm like consistently just because I am not that I'm on like I think the cable TV is better. I just grew up watching so much cable that I still love flicking through the channels and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been finding myself watching a lot of Twitch since COVID hit, pretty much since last year. Like, I kind of knew about Twitch, but I wasn't that. I was working like 12, 13 hours a day, so I pretty much didn't have time to go home and play games or watch YouTube or something like that. So since COVID, since last year, I've been watching a lot of Twitch content creators, and YouTube too. I pretty much don't watch too much TV. Like, there's like few things I watch, or sometimes when with the wifey, and we just want to spend time together. So you just and we watch some TV. But other than that, I'm pretty much watching a lot of YouTube content, pretty much baseball related content. Sometimes if I can watch some basketball or some other thing, but that's pretty much what I've been into, like Twitch and YouTube. Way too many hours I would say I spend watching sometimes.
That's the other thing. Like, I feel like over the last few years, like the content people put out, like incredible. Like, right? Like
Hmm.
just the
Yeah,
production value people have.
It's gone way up.
It's gone way up, right? So I can only
Yeah.
imagine how competitive it is now.
yeah. People
Um,
have more time.
maybe, but I mean, they're also very talented. Like these are
Yeah.
people like their video editing skills, for example, remind me of that of like cable TV. Like you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like these people could easily work in the movie industry or the TV industry. In my opinion, I mean, I don't know, but like it seems like that, because I've watched some and streams too. I see some streamers that have like these insane overlays and they incorporate everything into the like it becomes like a show, right? It's not just like a guy sitting there playing a video game. It's like a whole
Yeah.
it's a show, like, you know what I mean? Got like characters and alter egos and there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Hmm.
Super impressed with what I've seen over the last couple of years in the like content space. People are so talented, man. I mean, you're one of them, obviously. You've
Hmm.
you've done very
Not
well for
like
yourself.
that though, but
No,
no,
but
I think it's yeah.
you are though. You are though. I mean, a lot of people love watching your videos, so there's a good reason for that. I mean,
But definitely not TV production value. But no, going back to that production value thing, I think it's because companies and stuff are moving their money from TV. I think there's just more money in YouTube and like ads, so people have more money to spend on making like cool stuff. Because I've noticed that too. Like you said, there are some YouTube like shows that are pretty amazing.
mm,
Like amazed, like they have like
Hey,
the nice red, like the big cameras, and yeah, it's pretty incredible.
and then you look at some of the edits and stuff, and you think like, how long did
Yeah.
that take to film that? Like, right? I mean,
Mm,
you're talking like movie type of like 50 takes to maybe to get something,
yeah.
and stuff like that, or different angles. I'm always like, I watch a lot like Casey Neistat, for example. He's a big
Mm,
YouTuber, and like his production value has always been really like wow, like very cinematic,
yeah.
and then you step outside of just watching it, and then you think, okay, what did that take to film that, right? And then you start thinking
Mm,
like we've all uh, we've all done YouTube in some capacity, streamed in some capacity. We've messed with microphones and cameras and stuff. So you kind of get that sense like, holy cow, like what this took to take that shot, for example, right? And it's like
yeah.
maybe it's like a 3 second cinematic kind of shot, but it must have taken hours to record that or whatever. So it's
Hmm.
very interesting. Um,
definitely a learning process. You learn every single day with
right.
YouTube or Twitch while you're streaming or while recording a game or just editing a video you're gonna get out. It's a learning process, and I'm pretty sure TD can say that is you has to learn from from zero up to you are where you are right now. What doing your YouTube? I'm sure you made mistakes you don't make
Hmm.
now, and like you said before, you go and watch your videos back and say, "Wow, this wasn't good at all." But it's still out there. But that's when you say, "Okay, that's gonna happen," because that's how you learn how to you have to make mistakes in order to become successful. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I used to bug Daniel about this all the time and with just being like, put something out there and then,
I need a
like you said, you
banner.
kind of, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of overlays, Daniel's had some really good big overlays.
Yeah.
And I always used to there's one overlay when you were on so that I was like, oh, the whole screen is the overlay. The gameplay is about this big and there's lights and there's like I was like, holy man.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've definitely dabbled with that, but it's funny, like you said, and you're living proof of this. You don't need any of that. Like you don't need any of that. Um,
Well, yeah. And what I always told you, I was like, people like you because you're entertaining and you're funny, not because of the like overlay. So just put video, like people are gonna like you for you. It's like I think people who watch YouTube are less picky than we think sometimes about certain aspects. Like, yes, they want that quality, but at the end of the day, I think there's a huge like people just want to see, like, yeah,
They,
they just want to
they,
see you.
yeah, they're looking for value and entertaining, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hmm.
and that comes in
That's
all
what I'm looking.
forms, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it comes in all forms, and that's what I'm looking for when I'm watching somebody. I don't care who it is or what subject it is. If you can get a laugh out of me, or just entertain me, or just get me interested in something, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna leave a like and subscribe. Just because of that video, maybe. And that's pretty much what people is looking for: value, entertaining.
Mhm.
Nobody, like I said, nobody cares about gameplay anymore. That that changed because you can have like a great setup. Let's say on Twitch, there's a lot of streamers, and you can have a great, perfect streaming professional with all in, and you can just be boring as hell.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are like they have everything you can imagine, and you be like, this guy is boring. I just can sit down for 5 minutes and just watch this guy. It's just the way it is. It's just like
Yeah.
that sometimes.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, where you are now, I'm sure you've set at one point you've set yourself a goal to be where you are now, probably, and you've
Mhm.
met goals along the way and exceeded them. Um,
Yep.
what's next? Like, what are some of your goals? Like, where do you see us? What do you want to do? Like, going forward, are you kind of just rolling with the punches, or you do have like a set amount, like certain goals that you want to do, or just accomplish in life itself? I mean, I heard you're
Um,
building a house. That's a huge accomplishment. Congrats.
Mhm.
oh no, thank you. Yeah, no, very excited for that. I would say YouTube wise, I over the last couple of years, I've tried to kind of do what I can to like get not like a niche kind of follower base, but I trying to create content that I know will be like long-term sustainable. Like with Madden, like I focused a ton of energy on kind of going like pro and kind of getting that validity from people like, oh, he's really, really good at the game. And I'm posting content. I would say my 5-year plan is like I really am enjoying what I'm doing right now. Like on like playing football, doing a little bit of baseball and like doing the franchises and doing competitive. Like I genuinely just want to keep doing what I'm doing. Like what I'm doing right now is exactly what I wanted to do in like 2015 when we met, because I originally started at Sports Gamers Online as a competitive Madden guy. And when I started YouTube, I wanted to do franchises. I wanted to be competitive. I wanted to be a pro. And that like through doing thousands of challenge videos for baseball, basketball, anything you name it, things have kind of come full circle where I'm doing actually what I originally kind of set out to do. And that's why I don't really have any, and that's maybe why I'm less stressed about things like views and things like, because I genuinely know that this is where I wanted to get kind of the whole time. So I'm just focusing on being kind of revolutionary in my own way in terms of franchises, putting in the work, doing some like cool things. And yeah, I like just in life, I guess, just getting a better, and I think over the last 2 years I've done getting a better work like life balance and being able to kind of just shut my brain off and kind of have that, because for a long time I was completely obsessed with getting to where I was well, kind of to where I am now, where now that I'm here I can kind of just enjoy it and try not to worry about money or views or anything and just kind of
Be
enjoy
you.
making the content. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. I know COVID has changed some things, but you've over the years, now that you've grown quite a bit, worked with game studios, they
Mhm.
always had these events and stuff. They'd fly you out and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy flying out to those events, or has that changed over the years, or Like, do you
Um,
miss it? Because I'm sure there hasn't been as much as of late.
I hate flying. Like I don't hate. I'm not like scared of flying. I'm just like I find I'm tired after trips. Like I enjoy trips once I'm there, and I think I really enjoy it. But I like certain events. Obviously, like I'm looking forward to getting to like hopefully if they do capture events and stuff. But I think when I first started, it was all so exciting to me that I was going to everything. Like you name it. Like I went to like an NBA live
I remember that.
test event.
Oh, they're not that one.
And
Yeah.
yo, yeah, no, like that one too. But I went to like an NBA Live game testing event, and it was just like, and then I like stuff that I wasn't even that interested in. I kind of was. There was a little.
Mini
There's the
Uber.
guy. I remember when he was just kind of boring.
No kidding. I
Right when
know.
we met, that's how long we've known each other. But
Right.
yeah, no, I definitely have toned it down where I'm like, I'm no longer, because it used to just be like, oh, flying to the US, so cool. And that's still cool. But it's like, okay, what do I have to do to prepare for it? I got to get 3 videos ahead, or I got to stress all this out. I got to work double beforehand to earn that. So the way I think about things now is if I go on a vacation or do something, it's got to be worth the stress that it's going to cause me to do it because that's 3-4 days that I'm away from my computer. It's away from recording. And so I think I'll kind of look at things differently because those trips were stressful in some ways. Yeah.
No, they were. I mean, and that's the thing. They were really cool. Like, they're really awesome because they do some really cool stuff at the events. But like you were saying, there's also like a demand, right? Like there's
Yeah.
yes, they're free trips, but you're still, I mean, you're doing stuff and essentially like work, right? Like you're getting up every morning, there's a schedule, and you're going to these places. And then again, it probably comes down to like if it's if because now you look at it like work, right? Like you were alluding to nine to
Yeah.
five. And if it is a like a gaming event, you probably have to have value in that where it's worth your time because like you said, you would have to record ahead of time to keep your schedule going and everything like that. So those events are kind of a trip because they're really awesome, but then
Yeah.
they're also very tiring, right? Not just the travel, but just being out all day, all night, sometimes all hours, right? Because there's really in the gaming industry, it seems like there's no set hours, like right. There's a party at
Yeah.
midnight that you got to attend, or there's right.
Yeah, and the times kind of go all over. And I find the day of flying and the day flying back, I'm not super productive. So if it's like a 3-day full trip, there's like 2 days on both sides that I'm kind of useless too. So it's like, okay, now it's a 5-day trip. But no, I think just from a social aspect, I'll be excited about it just to kind of see people. I think that's one thing
Mhm.
with COVID and us moving to Toronto and being like pretty isolated. I'm excited to kind of once this is all over, go around and be around people. And yeah, I think
Sure,
that I definitely miss that.
sure, sure.
We all do. We all do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
I'm
We
kidding.
all, we all do.
As
yes.
as far as now, you've also done some videos with professional athletes. I
Hmm.
remember this is probably a few years ago. I think you did a thing with Alex Bregman, right? And
Yep.
yeah, and since then you've done like all types of celebrities.
Hmm.
Does one stand out? Like, do you have a story of one person that
Uh,
you met that I don't know if you are a fan of, or that just stands out, kind of?
I actually, and like obviously he's had a lot of controversy since we were there, but Alex Bregman was one of the coolest, like one of my favorite people to hang out with. Because he actually just like we did the video at his house. We just kind of went in, hung out at his house. He gave me and my friend who were there a bunch of money to go shopping, like in the meantime, in between videos. So, and then we
Wow,
ended up using the money that he gave us to buy his jerseys. And then we came back and signed him. I remember just he had his AB2 glove, which is right here. It's actually I don't know
wow.
why it's right there, but and they just came out and he just gave me and my friend one. And so I think that was the most time that I have spent. Like I've made some pretty like that's just like the most significant kind of trip because it was so cool to kind of see inside like the life and kind of see how being a major leaguer kind of is,
Mhm.
which was very cool. But I've stayed in I'm in a few Madden leagues with Hollywood Brown of the Ravens. The Lamar Jackson video that I did was very funny. He was quite hilarious on the mic. And also Tyreek Hill. I think I've played him 3 or 4 times. And every time he's super entertaining, like loves to win. The thing that all pro sports people have when it like converts to video games is they're all just incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
where like their competitive level is like like you kind of see just watching them play games why they're there. One interesting thing about Bregman that I remember telling my family is when we played Madden against each other, his ability to focus on the screen and tune everything out. Like he wasn't like the greatest player in the world, and when we played baseball, his ability to like focus, it was like it made sense. Like okay, that's how you hit a 98-mile-per-hour
Uh,
fastball. Like this guy, he literally was able to just stare at the screen and kind of lock into his own world where he was seeing everything. And then I was like, I guess that's what separates like because when you're at bat against Kershaw or Chat or whoever it is,
Exactly. Yeah.
to have that reaction time and to be able to kind of like see, you have to have that level of lock in and focus. So I remember thinking that was really, really, really cool. Someone I've been like I made become pretty good friends lately is Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves.
mhm.
Oh, wow.
Uh, he's the number one pick, and he loves Madden, and he is so competitive. Like he messaged
I
me
see.
like today again saying you're scared. Like every day he messages me I'm scared, and because all he wants to do is beat me in Madden. Like we've played 3 times, he's beat me once, but like that guy loves to win and hates to lose. Like I would say, and that's if I was like talking to a group of like young people who wanted to be pro athletes, I would say like there's no, it's just regular guys. Like when I'm 24, when I meet a 24-year-old who's a pro, it's the same thing. It's just they've made
Right.
it to that next level. It's just like hanging out with. They're really not a lot different, which sounds cliche, but
That's
it's been really cool though.
that's really interesting
Yeah.
though, because
Yeah.
now they're at the top of their game in their respective profession, and now
Yeah.
they're coming into your realm, and it's kind of like it's
Hmm.
funny. I've seen quite a few of those videos, and like you spec somebody that's really good at what they do, and they come into your realm of profession, and
Yeah.
they think they're just gonna smack you around, and now
Yeah.
now
Exactly.
you're just throwing darts right on the
Yeah.
field. I
Pretty
mean,
Yeah.
much.
No.
it's pretty cool.
That's when you can see, how the professional athletes are. They are really competitive. They don't like to lose,
Hmm.
even in their own sport. Of course, playing baseball in real life is way different than playing baseball in a video game. It's different,
Yeah.
certain type of skill, but you still have to have, some good eye and hand coordination at least, or, to see the ball when it's coming. And it's pretty much the same as, in the game, you're just playing with a control and you're just doing something else. But you have to be really good at it. Same playing with
Yeah.
Madden. Like, I never played Madden before. I just pretty much a baseball guy, but I watch a lot of football and trying to understand it. And you also have to be log in right there to play those
Hmm.
games because I've seen some tournaments on the Madden side, and those guys are just log in. Like they playing for
Yeah.
$1,000 and there's nothing around. It's just them and the screen, the opponent. And they just want to win it. And the way they focus in the game is just amazing. Like it's just like I'm playing for this and I'm gonna win it.
Hmm. It's like a chess, and that's why I like Madden's like a lot like a chess match when it comes to picking plays and tendencies and stuff. It always, and that's I think why I can play it all year is because it's very mentally like it keeps me, because it's like your actual, and when you get to like the competitive levels, like before I played my game in the live event, I spent like 2 weeks trying to study my opponent and understand
Hmm.
tendencies. And it kind of felt like that's how it actually is in the real NFL, where you're trying to be like, okay, he does this, what's he gonna do? He does this, what's he gonna do? And yeah, no, I definitely enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's very cool. I watched a video of you playing a quarterback. I think he was for the Falcons,
Or-
maybe.
Yeah, he just got signed by the Packers.
Oh,
Yeah.
but did he? Okay. And now this was
Yeah.
a very entertaining video. We'll put it somewhere on the screen, but it was basically the guy was like he knew exactly what coverage you'd be in every
Yeah.
time, right? And then it was kind of cool to see you counteract that. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you counteracting him, and then you kind of started, beating up on him, and it was kind of fun. Like, I mean, that's just like to somebody on the outside that likes watching those athletes and
Yeah.
watching that sport, and then like the best we can do is play that sport in video game form, right? Like I'm never going to be a
Yeah.
major leaguer. I'm never going to play in the NFL. The best I can do is play Madden or play MLB The Show. So then like those videos are, to me, they're so amazing because now you're seeing these very athletes coming, like I said, to
Mhm.
your realm of things and doing what we like to do, play games, and then to see them like look at the game in maybe a different way than we look at the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's super interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I switched up the defense on him where I was giving him a lot of
You did.
confusing looks, and he was struggling. He threw like 5 picks or something. No,
Right.
I'm very proud of him. So yeah, he just got signed by the Packers. He's a really cool guy.
That
Definitely a fan. I have this idea once, and hopefully I'd have to get like someone to. But I love the idea of having a series where in one video I play against let's say I play against him in Madden, and then we go out onto a football field and we actually like do a throwing competition where like just like you said, they play me in the video game realm, and then we do or I try and cover Hollywood Brown 1-on-1 or something like that, or hit a
Or
fastball from like I think that would be such a cool series to have half the video that, half the video that, but it would definitely take some like coordination and
sure.
money to kind of do, but I think it would be so cool.
That would be amazing.
one of the
Yeah.
videos one of the videos I really like from you on the baseball side, it has to be the one you were playing against somebody else, and it was you and your wife, and she was banging a trash can
Oh yeah.
from the Astros
Yeah.
one. I don't know,
Yeah,
Danny,
no,
if you
that
saw that
was
video. I was laughing my ass off every single time she was banging the trash can because that was so type of funny. He was just giving the instruction like 2, 1, 2, 2, and the dude at
yeah.
the other side was, dude, stop it. It's
Yeah.
annoying. So that was, so when I see that type of thing, I'm like, damn it, that was entertaining, man. That was like 10 or 15 or 12 minutes, whatever it was. That was entertainment right
Mhm.
there. And that's pretty much, what I love, that type of thing.
Yeah, no, well, and that year I knew, and honestly, it kind of like not. I'm definitely on. Like, I agree that everything they did was bad, but it was awkward because I do know because I did Astros, and I completely disagree with everything that happened. But I knew that keyword wise in baseball, it was the biggest thing in baseball. So I was like, I gotta make that video, and the idea just kind of like I had the idea up until like the year, and I did it, and I was like, oh, that it actually turned out. And I think it was one of my most viewed kind of baseball videos from that. But yeah,
That's pretty cool, man.
to flip, I was gonna ask you guys this question. What's your guys'
Yeah.
like plan with the pod? If you were to give like a 1 year plan, or things that you want to do, or things you plan to do with the podcast, or yeah.
So, um, so we started this crazy idea. I don't know if you know how we met. I mean, me and Daniel. I was streaming. I stream baseball, and I got a rave
Okay.
from a friend of mine, and Daniel wasn't there. Or Uber. It's just called Uber,
Mm-hmm.
and we just
Yeah.
started. He's from Germany. I'm in Germany right now too. So we just got a connection, and for me to find somebody from Germany who played baseball or MLB The Show and streaming,
Yeah.
it's great. It's like, okay, I'm not alone anymore. I'm finding somebody.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's just in the USA right now, far away from me, but it's still okay. And I just hit him and like, yo, man, listen, I got this idea because I had this idea for the podcast for a long time. The thing was, I couldn't find nobody, to share it with, or somebody who be
Mm-hmm.
like, consistent with it. So, to be like
Yeah.
the same type of consistent that I want to have on the podcast. And I hit him, I'm like, yo, let's just try, and I sent him a text and like, yo, I had this idea for this. And if we can have guests, sometimes like it would be great. If not, we can just do,
Just
be
talk.
you and me, exactly, just talking about, baseball, the show, live, those type of things. So it won't be only like MLB The Show. It will be like about everything pretty much. Of course,
Yeah.
sport related. And that's pretty much how he got, man. And he said, "Hey, yo, I'm in him." And I didn't know about his YouTube channel about that time, about anything about him. I just knew it from that. I was like, I like this
Yeah.
guy. I saw him like, I like this guy because I got that about
Hmm.
people. Like when I like somebody, like, yes, this guy, man. It's gonna be cool for what I'm looking for. And we pretty much, do the same, man. We actually work like a good card, like a good everything pretty good connect between us. We got a
Yeah.
great chemistry while we're doing it, and that's important for us. It's easy. He's easy to work with. I'm easy to work with. If we got ideas, we shoot it, and it's pretty much easy the whole thing. So everything when we got somebody on the podcast or we're doing along, everything just come natural. It's not that we don't
Mm-hmm.
have a script and we go, okay, we're gonna say this and that. It just come out of the blue, and it clicks so far. Now
Yeah.
the when we see each other in, let's say, 2 years or a year from now on, of course we want to grow up, and as a
Mm-hmm.
both of us, me and him, and we would like to, get more people on it. More guests every week. That's the goal. Of course, sometimes it's just not possible because people have different schedule, or they have to work, or whatever it is, or maybe he has to work, or I have to work. It's also a time conflict because I'm like 7 hours away from you guys right now, so
Mhm.
it's different for me. But right now I'm not working because of COVID, so I got the time for it. But even when I start working, I definitely want to do 100% of the podcast because that's pretty much what I want to do. It's like a
Very
grind.
cool.
It's no, it's a
Yeah.
it's a weekly grind for us, and
Yeah,
we
it's
Yeah.
we
it's
we, we love this hour. Okay,
yeah,
you
no,
finish,
I
man.
mean that you just said it. I mean, TD, you know me probably as well as anybody as far as what I tried to do, and
Mhm.
I've tried to do everything at one point, and then sometimes I feel like I just need an excuse to do something. Like so,
Mhm.
Poppy came along, and just like he said, I met him. He seemed like a super cool dude. I always thought it was like so like guy from Cuba who lives in Germany now. Like
Yeah.
that's
I see.
just that trips me out. Really cool, but
Yes.
so
Same here.
so when I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while now, and I've dabbled with it. I never really, same thing. I never found anybody that I could do it with, and so him reaching out to me, I was like, you know what, let's do it. And I kind of sometimes I feel like that's what I need, and you've done that too, TD. With like, I need somebody to almost hold me accountable, like you know what I mean. Otherwise, I
Mhm.
won't do it. Like I'm so bad with that. I'm just maybe it's lack of self motivation or what, but like I need somebody to help me stay accountable. Like, hey, we're doing this, kind of give
Yeah.
me a nudge. And you've been really great at that over the years. You've helped me a lot with that as well. And so I've kind of looked for like, okay, what's the next move, But as a byproduct, like just to wrap this up real quick, but the coolest thing that's come of this podcast by far, aside from the connection me and Poppy have, is like being able to sit down for an hour with people like you and Papa Vaz, and like I've met now quite a few people through this, and like
Hmm.
Mhm.
that's been like really cool, and that's honestly how I see this podcast, like just kind of evolving. Like I want to have a guest on every week because to me it's like super interesting. Like it's really inspiring to
Yeah.
hear. Everybody has a story, right? No matter what space they're in, what they're doing right now, everybody has a story, and it like to me, I just love talking to people. So that's kind of like why I decided to like, hey, let's do this.
Yeah,
Very cool.
pretty much
Yeah.
that's it, man.
Well,
Yeah. Is there what are the because I remember when I had one with my friend Eli and I would always
I
I
remember
looked up a
that.
lot of the growth techniques and where to put podcasts and like whether or not to get with a network and things like that. I guess you guys are still at the very early stages, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely,
it'd be
definitely.
interesting because I know there's some like you can join smaller podcast networks that allow you to kind of I guess help get your name out there or put some like or get some ads and stuff too. I don't know. I remember doing we did a podcast for a while and there's definitely lots of opportunities. And yeah, you guys have great chemistry, so I think keep at it. Do it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah, I
man.
think
I
consistency will take you a long way.
I think the video part too. That's the one thing. I mean, yeah, eventually I do want to throw it on Spotify and stuff as a podcast.
Mhm.
But like, there's something to be said about being able to talk like face to face. Like, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
definitely value in that. I don't know as far as monetization, there might not be value, but as far as just
Enjoyment.
content
Yeah.
value, I think it's there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like
So
I said, we are on the very early stage, and we just trying, like we know, like I said, we don't. It's like we don't want to have like a, from overnight if we can, but it's no goal like okay, we want to have like a million subs right now. No, it's just it's like I said, it's a learning process, and
Mhm.
if we get somebody here every week and they enjoy what they're being here, they're not forced to be here, they enjoy, and we enjoy too, then that's amazing for us. That's pretty much
Yeah.
because nobody's doing pretty much a baseball about the podcast about the show, maybe like one or another people, but it's not like everybody's doing it. So it's a whole
Yeah.
different type of thing. So, like I say, we're just gonna take it easy and week by week and see what happens.
That's really great.
play it by ear.
But yeah,
Well, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
it was amazing. It was great to have
Mhm.
you here, man. Finally, nice to meet you, and I hope you can grind your your YouTube and definitely your Madden MLB show. And I wish you nothing but the best, man.
Yeah, to you guys as well. No, it's
Thank-
definitely great getting on here.
Yeah, thank you for being so gracious with your time. And
Yeah, for
man,
sure.
always fun to hang out with you, dude. Like I've
Yeah, I
enjoyed
know.
our conversations over the years quite a bit. So it's nice to kind of remember we did one like this before, like E3, and it was terrible.
We
It
do
was
have, but it was a 3 box, just like this. Me,
just
you, and
like
Curtis.
this. The sound quality was terrible.
It was really bad.
It was really bad.
I'll have to go. Yeah, that because I was at home with that too. And we were recapping E3, all the different big games and big news.
That's right.
Because Spike Lee was doing the 2K was the big announcement that he
That's
was going
right.
to direct
This-
2K15.
That's right. The story, right? He was going to direct the
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
And there was an MLB The Show tent
Mm-hmm.
outside.
Outside.
Yeah, which was,
We played.
Which
Didn't
was
we
actually-
play in that? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. It was kind of cool,
Yeah.
actually.
they had a tent, and then I think something you could see how hard you could throw or something to that
Yeah.
effect. But
I remember that.
yeah, no, MLB The Show. I'm playing it on my second channel, and I'm like, the road to the show is good because it's gotten way harder to get to the show. But I think the game, going to Xbox is going to be huge for it. Like just viewer base wise, there's so many people, and it's free on Xbox.
Right.
That's the thing.
That's
Like
the thing.
it's a Game Pass game, and Game Pass games always blow up because they're totally free. Anyone could get them. So I think Diamond Dynasty is gonna kill it. I think all those modes are gonna just absolutely kill it. I think tutorials right now, like if I were to give advice, I think tutorials will kill it because there's gonna be a lot of Xbox players looking to learn how to play. Like I think MLB The Show is just going up.
Agreed. It's ascending.
Yeah. So it's a
Alright.
great time for you guys to be doing what you're doing.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
On that note, thanks
Yeah.
again, dude. Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll make sure the
We-
link all for the millions of viewers right now. We'll link your channel so
For sure.
you should see an
And,
influx
Oh
of
yeah,
viewers.
I'll wait for it.
Yeah. All
You
right.
know, it was great, man. Thank you for being here for sure, TD.
Awesome. Nice meeting you.
Nice
All
to
right.
meet you
Thanks,
guys.
TD.
Yes. Awesome.
Next week.